Okie dokie.
Yeah, I'm sorry if my narration struggling a bit tonight. My voice feels like it's going a little bit.
Oh, you sound fine.
Gotta drink some honey tea.
Or ginger if you have it.
Oh, I have a sunny face on my forearm though.
Looks like you're stuck.
Alrighty. So you guys spend an evening here at the camp of this caravan. You learn through talking to some of the miscellaneous individuals that the name of this actual caravan is the Easterly Winds. That they are part of what means nothing to most of you, but what they say is the Clipped Wings Axis. Make a history check for me, Mish. Yeah, it's not bad. You haven't really spent much time in Haven properly, but given its political connections to Defiance, you recall from hearing them talk about it that there are many, many caravans that patrol Haven. Some sometimes more, sometimes less, as they change around a lot. People move between them, but there's kind of generally 3 or 4 sort of main. What's the word? Like co-ops in a way, conglomerates of different caravans that unite under certain leadership, but they don't. It's not enough for all of them to agree. There's a couple of competing interests, but these different conglomerates are called axes. There's the clipped wings, the broken tooth, the scale rot. There's generally a theme of bad things happening to Dragon with their naming schemes.
Ah, yes, the world famous dragon expletives.
After you guys get settled in, eventually, Cormus comes back over to you guys, and he's leading a really like decrepit looking older woman, like straight up crone material from like a Disney movie.
Oh god.
Sort of the red kurta she's wearing is basically like swallowing her wraith like frame, and she just approaches you guys with one hand supporting herself on Cormus's shoulder, and he'll say, "Hi again. This is the matron of our community here, and she wanted to meet the strange collection of beast folk that I'd let her know." And she cuts him off. "Well, now, I've never seen in my life something as fuzzy as you, child."
Oh, well, you should make the trip up north. There's plenty of fuzzy folk like me.
It's really a shame you don't get out more often. I think we could use some more people like you around. Maybe we may be able to make some more coats or blankets out of the late left behinds.
That's not a terrible idea, actually.
But
Just give Mitty a good combing, and whatever falls out, we hang on to until we have enough to make a nice coat.
don't think that's how alchemy works.
He's trying so. I can tell he's trying so hard to be polite.
Mayor kind of licks her lips around a mouth that you can see does not have all of its teeth anymore, and she will say, "Now what you all call yourself with your motley collection of individuals here?"
Friends?
Real annoying. We're just a group of friends traveling together.
If we ever kill a dragon, we'll think of a name.
Strange fellows to be friends, but supposing I understand. The runner here tells me that you guys saw something back up north, a dragon.
Yes, particularly by the lake. One has taken residence there, and it's a singer.
Well, child, it's been a long time, and probably longer still until there ain't a Hydra taking residence up within the Ravel. It's kind of their territory.
Oh, well, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, it's definitely ain't nice that it's getting close to our places and moving out of the lake, but always something in there, child. That's why you don't go swimming across the river if you can help it.
It actually raises a worrying concern that if it is pushing out into the river more than is normal for its hunting territory, perhaps something in the rabble proper has forced it out.
That's possible. Ain't something for small people like us to figure out, though. Sure, the hunters will work on it if they're told. That is, assuming Belmore can spare anybody to come north these days, which he ain't been doing much of.
Well, if they've been occupied elsewhere.
Well, you ever been to Defiance before, boy?
Every now and again.
Used to be that going down into the fog lands and looking for things was something just the Delvers did and passed the time, but Belmore wants to do more and more of that and less of protecting us up here, I feel like.
Is he looking for something down there?
I don't know. If you ask me, I think it's those Shadowkin from the south that are corrupting his mind, telling him there's something in there to find, probably. You guys could see Cormus is still dutifully supporting the old woman up. She seems kind of shaky on her legs and maybe doesn't usually stand without the assistance of a walker or something that she has foregone in this social circumstance. But sort of from behind her, he just looks at you all and kind of rolls his eyes.
And what did she say was corrupting him, potentially?
She said Shadowkin.
What are Shadowkin? I've never heard of that.
Those I don't know what they call themselves. The monsters from south, creatures that live in the dark and hide from the sun.
Vampires?
Oh, Demonkin.
No, there are definitely not demonkin that fit that description.
Yeah, Cormus will speak up and say, I think what the matron's referring to is the recent developments of the Senians moving into the south.
Yeah, we had talked about them before when we were plotting out our potential route through the region, if I remember correctly, and they were kind of isolationist, if I remember.
More or less, yeah. They don't get along with Lucendil.
Well, peculiar that they're settling themselves out as far north as Defiance, but if there's something in the Foglands that they want found and they aren't willing themselves to find it, that is certainly intriguing.
The matron kind of nods sagely and will say, like I said, strange bedfellows. There's something about this time, these days, is drawing people together that back in my childhood would never have been together, out of their rightful places. Shadowkin coming across the sea and talking to the good folks in Defiance, and bear people riding in caravans with elves. What else the world comes to next, I don't know.
Oh, great.
Kind of not really minding too much the company that he's in because he doesn't think it's, as far as he's aware, that important. Vinali will turn to the group and just say, "You suppose this potential arrangement between the Sinians and Defiance has something to do with the colonial forces grouping up in the north?"
Probably.
Wouldn't be the most far-fetched idea.
Following a trend you see with him now, Cormus kind of focuses intently on you guys again and kind of steps forward a little, saying, what was that about colonial forces?
Well, we know that they're gathering their military for something, and we know that it's, well, according to them at least, not to do with the cradle. So the only other alternative would be perhaps a push down this way, unless they're crossing back over to the mainland.
He kind of clicks his tongue at that and just seems thoughtful. The matron shakes her head like vigorously side to side and sort of is tutting and says, "These folks move so fast these days. They don't even know what they're doing before they do it."
Couldn't agree more. Not that we're not guilty of it ourselves.
But other than that, they hang around and make some small conversation. Um, you guys also, remember, took a cutting of the Kurta from the dead people that you had found, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
At any point did you guys want to show that to people, or were you holding on to that?
Right now Misha's holding on to it. And when you say cutting, you mean the emblem, right?
Yeah, you had taken some of the sort of runic weaving that goes around the hem and the chest area of it that you can see they also have, although the pattern is different.
Like, how similar is it to what they see?
You're not very used to this art form. This is not a cultural thing that really is very prevalent in Defiance. Um, for like a real world connection, think of almost like Gaelic knots, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they're different, but to the untrained eye, like they all kind of look scribbly.
Okay. So in that case, Mish will actually show them, or rather show the old lady this, and just say, pardon me, but do you know these symbols?
She'll kind of, with a shaking hand, reach out, take it, lick her lips, looking at it, bring it closer to her eyes, look at it, kind of tut and bring it even like she's got basically her face pressed into it to try and look at it. I can't tell you what caravan it is because it's new. Definitely, this is everyone's moving too fast these days. I think it's part of the scale rod axis.
Would you said this? You said who? You already know who they were, right?
Say what?
Does this name sound at all familiar?
The scale rat was one of the caravans that he mentioned earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, aside from that, we don't really know anything about any of them. He just mentioned the name in passing.
Oh, okay. And then, okay, thank you. Still a bit worrying.
You see her thinking on it, and she'll kind of look up at the first runner and say, "Wasn't there something about that caravan recently that you shared with me?" And he'll kind of think to himself, thinking about news that he had heard recently. Look back at the scrap of cloth you have in your hand, Mish, and say, "There was some people coming up from Defiance, asking about a caravan in that axis. There's a purifier with them too, a young one."
A purifier?
Kind of waves his hand in the air. A cleric of the cleansing flame. They come up from Defiance sometimes to deal with issues that the hunters don't care to.
How do you know, Mish, if you're inclined to leave those cuttings with them here, perhaps the next time your caravan bumps into theirs, you can relay the information of the fate of their kin.
Yeah.
We can definitely do that. I wish I could remember more, but I just heard through the grapevine that there were some questions being asked. I don't think I got much more than that. And just so you are aware, you do remember what a purifier is, correct, Richter?
It's effectively the murder squad, but it's pretty much like a cleric who takes a more offensive stance, if I remember correctly.
That's the order you belong to. you are a purifier in training.
Wait. I know. It's moving on. But yeah, okay. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. No, okay.
Just making sure, because you hadn't reacted.
Well, I'd say Mish is more contemplative more than anything. Because, like, why is it normal for the purifiers to be this far out?
Oh,
Because I know Mish is like a special case because she was effectively told to, get going or take a trip to mature and all that, but
make a religion check for me.
okay. What?
You know, um, basically, like it's in the job description of a purifier that they do go out and take care of corruption and dark creatures and things like that. So I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
they go to Haven sometimes. It's not like the most common of destinations for them, but you know they make their way all over.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Alright, well, if anything, she'll be getting answers in Defiance, so.
But just basically the news was what he couldn't remember what the specific issues were if he was told, but there were essentially rumors that a purifier was in Haven recently asking after that same clan.
Mm-hmm.
Do your people hunt things besides demons?
I mean. Yeah?
Yes, yes, they do.
Though, like, Mish isn't too keen on the particular leave. Because, again, low rank.
Even at your rank and like with even with that religion role, it's again kind of job description. Um, Purifiers and generally worshippers of Agioteus hunt things the the establishment have deemed unclean, which is demons, undead, dragons. You know, there's the list goes on.
So
Maybe after a week of traveling.
I wouldn't say you're that bad. But, yes. Mish will just, nah, will just, like, shrug and say, if anything, I can probably get answers from, the main temple when we get there.
that's true, and we can't afford to get too far out of our way distracted by this. As
Right.
curious as I am.
And if anything, I'll tell you more on the way over.
I can't imagine, assuming that it was just the one of you, that they would have sent a person alone to handle the dragon, but it makes me wonder what other threats are up here that they could be trying to deal with. Hopefully we don't run into it.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Knowing our luck, we probably will.
Yeah.
Well, there was talk of doing some trading. So besides, your normal provision type things, was there any? They don't have a huge inventory, but is there any kind of shopping that anyone wanted to do?
How big are those ballistas?
The ones on the caravan?
Yeah.
You know that scene in I think episode 4 of Star Wars, and where Luke and they get in the turret seats of the Millennium Falcon?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, think like that, but crossbows.
Okay. So not something MIDI can manhandle, but
We could mount it on the cart.
exactly.
It would be the only thing in the cart.
Yeah,
Do we need other things?
they themselves, you see people are individually armed with crossbows and things like that, but the ones on the caravan are like siege weapons, not the right term, but they are like mounted. They would be heavy guns in Edge of the Empire.
So I feel like one of those would be useful.
Someone in Twain right now is working on an Imperial blaster rifle.
The soul gun.
Would you like to haggle for one?
Yes, but I don't know if I can pay for it by myself. I don't think I could. I'm trying to get.
I don't even know if we as a group could pay for one.
Yeah.
If there's no interest from anybody else, then I'll back down on this. But
Connor's interested.
I mean, there's literally, well, I was gonna say there's no harm in trying, but as long as I'm not involved, there's no harm in trying. So we know how that went last time.
Could you steal
Can
one
you-
of them?
can you steal something that big?
No.
Sleight of hand check for a mounted weapon.
All right. Here's what we do. Vinali, I'm gonna need you to conjure up a ball, a large ball. Connery, I'm gonna need you to
do that.
I'm gonna need you to find a couple hand-sized rocks. I'm gonna distract these folks.
Oh, I know what you're doing.
And then Hal, you make away with the turret.
The good old
It's-
circus performance.
It is flawless.
So you guys are going to try and steal one of these mounted crossbows.
No,
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
I am vetoing this idea.
We
Like,
steal
veto.
one of the mounted crossbows, and the rest of them fire at us.
You can't veto anything. You're one person.
Hey, it's free ammo.
But on a more serious note, I would be interested in asking about more of those. Were they scale breakers? I think was the name.
Oh yeah. So you would like to, you guys had the one, but you would like to purchase some more?
Couldn't hurt. We're headed into dragon territory. Dagger is the only weapon I can use, although if I'm using a weapon at all, things have gone horribly wrong. But Cal can dual wield. Technically, daggers, I believe, are on the monk weapon list as well.
I don't need daggers. I have fists that I can set on fire.
Okay.
It's a dagger when you punch.
They are open to trade. If you guys would like to try and offer any items you have, but in terms of like gold value, they'll give you a scale breaker for 25 gold.
fancy, but it might be worth it.
25 gold.
Yep, 25 gold for a skill breaker, and they'll give you, if you really rustle them, they'll give you 2 or 3, but full price for each of them.
I can pay for one.
Alright, so you just hand over the gold.
Yeah, they've been nice enough. And since I already have the one in my inventory, I'll just go ahead and hold on to it. But anybody is welcome to have it if you want to actually put it in your attack list or whatever. But I've just got it in my inventory for right now.
I feel like you'd actually really get the most out of it just from dual wielding, getting the extra chance for sneak attack.
Stabby stabby.
Alrighty, so you have a second scale breaker in your inventory. You're 25 gold down.
I guess I'll just inquire if they have anything else that might interest a group of idiotic adventurers.
I have a question.
Yes.
If Conry's hunting like these elk and these things, do we have like fur and bones and stuff we could trade from them still?
If you guys have been harvesting that and maintaining them in your travels, you could.
Might be a good idea to start doing that.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea.
That'd be
I'd
good.
say horns are fairly easy to have kept, but fur you kind of have to make a kind of conscious effort to preserve.
You got a tan hide.
See if they've got a portable tanning rack. It's a caravan, they probably have one.
I mean, I'm sure there are ways to tan hide without having to purchase a whole tanning rack.
Well, you could obtain a set of leather worker tools.
Oh yeah, I want to do that. Give me that. How much is that?
Salt the ever-loving shit out of it is another good way.
A set of leather workers tools is 5 gold.
I got that. I'll take that.
Do you have to train to be able to use them?
My understanding is that anyone can use the tool, you just won't get proficiency bonus if you're not trained in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the tool allows you to make the check. The proficiency just allows you to make it better.
Is it 5 gold?
Yeah, 5 gold for just the tools, and then if you wanted like an actual, like I said, like kind of not like a full size, but some sort of portable rack with which to hang things and dry them out and things like that, that could run you another 10.
A folding laundry rack, if you will.
Something treated and weatherproof and designed for that sort of a use.
I suppose I'll get one of those too.
Okay, so you guys have obtained tools with which to preserve some hides now.
You said that was 10, right?
Yeah, I'd say 15 in total for that and the tools.
Okay, then I'm down to 595 gold.
And sorry, you said just general, like anything interesting, Azure?
Yeah. Anything unique and mystical? No, just anything interesting.
So, at you saying that, the individuals that you're dealing with go back into the back of the caravan, rummage around for probably a good 10 minutes while someone else is helping Conry. They come back and they lay several knick-knacky things out, like a sort of a impromptu display counter for you. There is a bag of what the guy will proudly claim is a set of dragon finger bones that have runes carved into them for fortune telling. They
That
lay
sounds interesting.
they lay down a deck of tarot cards. They also lay down it looks like a nice palm-sized, not midi, but like one of the normal-sized people's palm
See how it is.
of this nice jagged pink crystal, which they will say, and this is from broken, but one of the Tethian Arcana crystal machination things that we salvaged.
Ooh, Tethian.
That
That's your
definitely
shtick,
piques
right?
my interest. Yes. Might
And
be able to do something with that.
Lastly, he'll lay down a flask that is mostly made of treated wood, and although it's opaque, you can't see through it. He'll sort of shake it and say, and in here is, well, last bit of something that the matron whipped up before she became too dangerous to trust her with her alchemy supplies.
Is it alcoholic?
He'll kind of take the cap off and sniff it. Maybe?
I like your confidence, kid.
Are you selling something you don't know what's in it?
Maybe.
She used to be a really good alchemist, but yeah, you know.
Mind if
That
I
does not
have a
inspire confidence. By the way, how much for the tarot card?
Sorry, you
Let
said
Esther finish.
tarot cards?
Yeah.
Let me look. Do they not have a set of that? And that's something I thought they would have in 5e tools.
I think there are tarot cards as a trinket, but not that has a buy price.
Okay, he'll give you that set for an entire gold piece.
Oh, a whole gold.
Why not?
Okay, you obtain a tarot deck.
Thou art I, and I am thou.
Sorry,
No.
what were you saying before, Azur?
Oh, I was just going to say, with regards to the potion that he was that he had open just then, I was going to say, do you mind if I, and then kind of just like gesture at dipping my finger in and putting it to my tongue.
Oh, that's a good idea.
He'll kind of look at the flask, look back at you, kind of consider, sniff it again. Yeah, I just don't want to say something poisonous, and he'll hold it out for you.
I'll take a little dab with my finger and see if it tastes like anything that I might recognize.
If he dies.
It is very, very boozy. Right away, you get the taste of strong spirits. You get there's something earthy underneath that's vaguely medicinal, but it, despite the appearance and the confidence at which he's showing it off, it doesn't taste turned or spoiled or anything like that.
Might have medicinal properties. It's definitely going to get someone drunk, though.
Let me try.
I don't think we're going to all just get free samples out of this. I think it's there's not enough to go around.
Aw.
The guy caps it again and kind of shrugs. Yeah, it can be yours if you want to pay for it.
What are you asking?
What are you buying?
For this, and mostly because it's, you know, not replaceable, 10 gold.
That
They're
and the
not
crystal
replaceable.
I'm interested in, and I'll get both.
Crystal, he will pick up and kind of admire himself and say, "Now this is genuine article. We found it ourselves. I'm sure if you're interested in such things, you know how much they can be worth. 100 gold.
You did say this was broken.
Yeah, it is like very clearly like broken glass, shattered at the bottom ish of it, whereas like it comes to the neatly cut facets at the top.
Does it look like it was in a device and was just kind of broken out of it?
Yeah, sort of that appearance. But still, the chunk that is good is over a foot long, like not almost 2 feet, and is as wide around as your hand. It's a good like uh, it's a nice weighty piece of crystal, like according to him, genuine Tethian article.
In looking it over, does it seem like it's a genuine article?
Make a insight would be for the person. If you're looking at the thing, I would say make a investigation check.
Okay.
I would say it looks. You think from your experience that it probably is Tethian, or at least from the region. It doesn't appear to be of like the best quality, but you don't think he's lying about where it came from.
And value-wise, based on that, does that seem like a fair price?
It's probably a little expensive, but like not leagues worth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And he said it was 10 gold for the potion?
Correct.
100 gold for both. How does that sound?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Ooh, even better.
Ooh, rolling really well.
Roll 20 is setting me up for a colossal failure down the line when it matters.
He'll kind of look between you and the crystal, and then back at the kind of not quite fuming flask, and say, all right, sure, I can work with that."
So I'll hand him the 100 gold.
Right, and you obtain the. You can write it in your inventory as "quote unquote" healing potion,
Gotcha.
as well as the piece of Tethian crystal. Was there anything else shopping wise you guys wanted to do? Any of the other items or any other generic things?
The crystal has been bought, so I am happy enough.
So he will pick back up the bag of dragon finger bones and take that back to the caravan. So I would say after having kind of an early dinner and talking with some people, doing a bit of shopping, it's probably later in the evening. If you guys wanted to push it, you could still make a little bit of a journey and camp on your own further south, or you could spend the night camping with these guys if you wanted to.
Safety in numbers plays our best.
Yeah, we're already here.
We did just give them money for stuff, so.
Alright, so you guys stay camping with them. They make room for your arrangements in the middle of sort of their protective cluster. At some point, when you guys are starting to get ready for sleep and everyone starts to turn in, Cal, you will get a message in your head.
Oh,
You hear Arjun's voice as he says, my daughter said you are heading to the Bray. I hope you don't do anything rash. I'm trying to think of what he would say. I hope you don't do anything rash, homeless one.
and am I able to say anything back? I don't know any spells.
Yeah, you can respond to 25 words, and he will hear it in his head.
Mm, I will. It'll probably take a couple minutes for him to think of something to come back at, because Arjun, insinuating that kind of pisses him off. That he knows things that he maybe shouldn't somehow. And he'll come back and he'll say, "I am home. I am my own home, and what I do in the Braylands is my business."
Alright, you speak that into the air.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, little birdie was curious about what we were doing, where I was going.
Anything we need to worry about?
Mm, not anytime soon, at least. Nothing to fear.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, if you're okay, then yeah, I guess we're good, right?
Alright, you guys camp for the evening amongst decent company, and all of you are able to get an easy night's rest because you don't have to stand guard or watch because you are being covered by their patrols for the night.
This is
See, if we
nice.
did buy one of their ballista, we'd be expected to be one of the guard.
Hey, but we'd also have a giant ballista.
There's always the morning if you really want to ask, Mitty.
Well, first of all, how are we gonna load that onto our cart?
You look like a strong individual, Mish. I'm sure you can do it.
I'm like 100 pounds when wet. I don't think I can carry that.
You need to have more confidence in yourself.
Yeah, just gotta believe.
This has nothing to do with confidence. This has to do with like being realistic.
That's glitter talk.
All the way from Cal's bedroll, you'll just hear him say, I don't think you're being very confident.
Oh my.
Yeah,
And
Mitch,
she'll
you gotta
just
say it with
turn
your chest.
She'll just like turn to the others and just like almost like, you see what I have to deal with?
Mish will be
Hello?
fine, but think of the poor horses.
4 horses?
They're going to have to pull a cart with that massive weapon on it.
They will be the poor horses of the apocalypse.
I don't know what you're talking about, Azure. They've been doing that for weeks. They've been carrying Mitty.
Oh,
That is true.
oh.
Mitty
Sad
hops
Mitty
on top
noises.
of them and immediately gives it sway back.
But you have a nice evening's rest. Although you might have normal dreams, Conry, you don't have a repeat of the previous night's vision.
Oh, good.
Although I will say, make a wisdom save for me, Cal.
Wisdom?
Yes. Yeah, Roll20's being kind. You go to sleep a bit grumpy, but thankfully your sleep is not overly impacted. So the morning comes. You guys seems that the Caravaneers are being courteous to you, and you manage to sleep through a little bit of the initial motion. But as you come to, you see that half of the other party is already kind of up and moving and starting to prime their rigs to get moving again sometime soon.
Vinali will just yawn and mumble to himself, "What, no breakfast?"
Cormus, who's coming back over, will hear you say that and say, no, tribespeople of Haven eat their morning meal in the saddle, I'm afraid.
Well then, so shall we.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming with us. I know it was out of your way, but I think the company was appreciated by all accounts, including the matron, he says with kind of a suffering look.
Tell her I said thanks for the potion.
Okay.
I'll hold up the potion so he knows what I'm talking about, because I can't imagine that he was aware of what I meant until that.
He just looks at you holding that flask and just kind of shakes his head. Well, I hope that you did get some useful things out of this encounter, but we will certainly take your warnings and information and hopefully do good with them going forward.
And it has been a pleasure. And as you said, the company was good.
It's rare to meet travelers that aren't part of other caravans here, so consider ourselves lucky. But I wish you good speed on your way to Defiance. Should be mostly a straight shot for you now, as soon as you clear the foothills of the spine. But if there's anything we can do to help, let us know.
Safe travels.
Yeah, take care of yourselves.
He'll nod and sort of reach a hand out, sort of generically in your group for one of you to take it.
I feel like
Bear paw.
it should always be Mitty.
Mitchell has
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitty will do this.
Okay. The bear person comes forward and clasps his
Oh,
hand.
God.
Make just a straight strength check for me, Mitty.
Oh
Oh,
god,
no.
don't get in a fight with him.
Laugh if it's a nat 1.
Please don't fight this guy.
You both rolled 16. So it is a very evenly matched, perfectly balanced as all things should be handshake, as you just
Oh.
kind of both stare at each other.
Fucking Full Metal Alchemist. When Lieutenant Armstrong meets the teacher's husband. I gotta find.
And they just clasp hands.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is.
Now do a thumb war.
Right here.
Yeah, basically. But even as you guys are starting to get your own horses tethered and your own cart back in order, in surprisingly quick time and with notably more efficiency than you all, the behemoth of a caravan begins chugging along and making its way northeastward again, leaving you guys behind as you see them. Some of the stragglers wave back in your direction farewell as they continue on their unending journey.
Never-ending story.
That's a 50 DKP minus. Alright, so you guys load up, you get moving again. You're a good ways through the Plains of Haven by this point. I probably put you at probably another day's travel to get all the way around the base of the spines, and then 2 or 3 more, 3 or 4 more to get to Defiance. Are you guys all going to stick to your previously sort of picked out roles for this leg of the journey as well?
Yeah, I think so. And Conrad will
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Conrad will start preserving the inedibles from anything else that's going on.
Okay. Everyone make the roll that you made before again. So like survival for Conry, animal handling for you, Mitty.
Okay.
Are you still spending your time with the scroll, Vinali?
No.
As tempted as I am to start playing around with my new toy, I will stick with the scroll for now.
So
Okay.
I have become the king of these.
The king of the animals?
Yeah.
Yeah, the horses now view you as their pack alpha, which is weird because horses aren't even pack animals.
They're
yeah,
herds.
Hunting animals.
Herds.
Yeah, not pack.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Can
Horses
I?
aren't part of the Omega verse.
What the fuck?
So what? I'm almost scared to ask, but what is that?
Whatever you do, don't Google it.
Googling now.
Can I either do the thing of supervising Juju and giving her really useless advice, giving
Connery?
Connery really useless advice
Oh,
to help
God.
him?
Like, trying to aid their
Yeah,
trip.
yeah,
But failing?
You
potentially.
could have before they rolled already.
Okay. Well, I'll do that
Just
for flavor then.
just imagine Cal in like the hunting blind going, "You should shoot that one!" just really loudly and spooking all the animals.
Okay. Some not as good rolls this time.
Hey, is that survival of the fittest thing that Connery has said at all?
Can you link it into the chat? Well, so you guys won't go hungry. I will say for that role, you don't really. You're still learning. You're getting a feel for it, but you don't really make any uh you don't start obtaining any good workable hides or anything yet. You're still sort of figuring out that process.
Alright.
Yeah. For those of you, well, I mean, for everyone really, uh, this journey that you've taken for the past couple weeks with Connery has been pretty sweet. You guys are not used to having such a readily available source of fresh foraging and hunting. He's keeping you guys pretty well fed for being on the road.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will say navigation of the caravan not the best. But thanks to Mitty's un- unwavering connection with your what did you guys name him? Winkle and Blinkle.
What?
When did we do
Um,
that?
That was just my suggestion. I don't think that was a group decision.
I'm gonna have to veto that one hard.
Also, it's Winkin' and Blinkin'.
I don't get it.
It's a children's poem. Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod.
Oh, okay.
I am old.
But
We could name them Puss and Boots.
No.
no, because if we ever have to do a stream again, I'm not saying that Mitty is riding Puss.
God.
Stop! Mitty is a pure boy. Do not lube the Mitty.
I just hear her seal clapping back there.
Also, I just want you to know that your voice modulator made it sound like you said, "Do not lube the MIDI."
Do not lube Mitty either.
Can you imagine how awful it would be to get lube out of bear fur?
Oh,
Oh God.
Just saying.
Well,
That's a mental image.
Mitty, what the hell did you do?
I didn't do shit.
I want to see a doctor about that.
So I will say, as you guys travel, you with your role, you do see a couple of things of note, Mish. You've seen the herd of plane striders. You pass by a couple more of those in your journey. You guys also will see one wild flock of like what's the word? Wild horses that sort of
A flock.
travel.
I need
Stallion?
a flock of horses,
A herd?
baby. Do they look like they have wings?
What is the
I mean,
correct
unless we're
term
talking
for?
about Pegasi here. Herd.
A herd.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Yeah. Are you okay?
No, I don't know. No, a group of horses is called a team, a harass, a rag, or a stud.
Hey, Mitty, do you want to ride the stud?
No.
Oh my god.
Never heard of
Horse.
a group of horses referred to as a stud. Usually it's just the
Yeah.
breeding
Yeah.
male.
Herds are a group of horses kept for breeding.
Huh. Well, I learned something new today.
String sounds better since they tend to travel in a line.
So you see a string of wild horses.
Get him!
But they move pretty darn quickly and then are as skittish as I imagine wild horses are from a loud and approaching caravan with a bear person in the front of it.
I have an important question.
Yes.
Connor,
What?
are you one of those people that shouts horse whenever they see horses? Is Connery one of those people? He seems like one of those people.
Not for horses.
Fuck. Disappointed.
What, did you expect him to start chasing after him? Like a dog?
I mean, no. But
Now you do.
Connery is definitely, though, one of those people that does punch bug whether or not anybody else in the car is participating.
Yeah, he would do that.
As
Yeah.
what?
When you see a punch bug, when you see a Volkswagen Beetle,
You say punch bug and then whatever the color of the beetle is, and then you punch the nearest occupant of the vehicle that you're in.
punch the person closest to you as hard as you can.
It's like punch
What
bug red,
the-
and then you punch the passenger next to you.
You've never played.
What? No.
Connery
I'm
would.
assuming this is a game you play with siblings.
Siblings or road trips.
I've never heard it called punch bug, but slug bug. Slug bug, no slug back.
Punch buggy, no punch
Yes,
back.
I've always called it, shut the hell up, I'm trying to sleep, wake me up and you're missing a tooth. I think it was a different name.
Get away.
You must be really fun at parties.
No, that's what
Yeah.
that's what I would be told.
Oh no.
But as you guys probably after your first full day of traveling again since leaving behind the easterly winds, you'll start to round the foothills of the Spine, which you guys have been keeping a fairly decent berth from, which is from Mish's advice and those that have traveled this way before, because compared to the relatively docile plains, the mountains can have some more mean critters in them and stuff. But as you guys start to round that bend and head into the southwestern direction of Defiance, there's a point, Mish, a day of worth of travel or so, an afternoon really, where you are not very attentive and you find yourself staring out towards the range of mountains a lot, sort of just being drawn towards it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a particular reason why?
I wouldn't say it's a very conscious thing. It's more just you catch yourself like, oh shit, I'm not staring at the road. Why am I looking at the mountain range again?
Hmm.
You like basically keep zoning out, kind of, sort of.
Okay. Hmm. Does she see anything amidst like her zoned out state?
You see the range of mountains. They are sort of a dark brown, very jagged looking. From not personal experience, but from stories and stuff, that they're pretty nasty little range of mountains that most people don't do too well in.
Mm. Like, is there any memories unbidden that like is coming up while she's staring, or it's just her vegging out?
I would say the latter.
Okay. So who's the one driving the cart?
The MIDI has pretty
Or
much been driving the cart the whole time.
okay. So I guess like amidst like her vegging out, like she's like, "Are we there yet?"
No.
Get there when we get there. Sorry.
So it's pretty much every 5 minutes like, "Are we there yet?" Like she's pretty much become like that irritant, just asking if they're there or not.
So that gets old pretty fast, considering you're still several days from the Defiance.
Oh, I thought you said it was days travel.
Well, to get around the ridge of the mountain.
Ah. Alright.
Someone else want to handle him or her this time, or do I need to take care of it again?
Don't choke me again, please. I'm not into that.
Over this leg of the journey, as you get properly, well, you're still technically in DeLeo as you head further southwest, but you begin to get into what is considered the real doorstep of the Drake Hunt, the land of dragons and their hunters and forgotten ruins and the delvers who braved them to claim the artifacts of the past, of which several members of your party have either an affiliation towards or have filled those roles themselves. You watch the gradually the tall wheat grasses give way to shorter, drier plains before eventually the land doesn't go full marsh, but gets pretty close. And Mish, you were able to identify once you guys have that first sort of miserable hour in the afternoon where the wheels of the caravan start to get bogged down in mud, that you're like, oh yeah, we're close to Defiance now.
Okay.
And I will say, during this leg of the journey finale, um, what is his intent with the scroll at this stage?
Long-term goal is to learn how to cast it without the scroll, if possible. Obviously, he's not a
Alrighty.
wizard, so he can't add it to his spell book, but just basically try to gain an understanding of how to weave the magic in a similar way.
And you don't happen to you don't know the command spell, right?
I don't think I do. Let me double check. I do not. It's on my spell list, but I don't know it.
Alrighty. Make me a d20 roll with your spellcasting modifier.
Okay. Oof, no.
Yeah, you spend the next couple days working with the scroll again. You've gotten beyond the point of understanding it now to feeling like you're not an arcane theorist, but you feel like for this spell very specifically, you have a really good idea of how it should work. Um, Maybe not. You know this spell's arcane mechanics far more than you know any other spell you routinely cast, which more of them just kind of happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just like, I just innately know how to do it, and I've never really questioned how.
But with your persistence, you do feel like for the first time you really understand how this spell's supposed to work and what you should be aiming to do. But it is a not super successful at first, but interesting expanding of your horizons to try and learn a spell that is kind of a new experience for you, given that your magical abilities overall are still fairly new to you.
Yeah, I'm in no rush. I'd rather be careful about it and be sure that I'm not like going to to use this, not going to blow myself up.
Again.
Gotcha. So yeah, at first you're not having much success with it, but like I said, it is uh, it's one of those like finding a new puzzle or a new hobby that you can kind of get into. It's new. It's challenging your brain in some ways that you haven't really challenged before.
Which Vinali is all about. Even if nothing comes of it, he's just excited to be trying something new.
Alrighty. So you get to the point, Mish, after another couple days of travel, where you guys hit a more sort of marshy land with the grasses getting more green and vibrant, but also becoming interspersed with like standing ducktails and other more sort of swampy, detritus like plants. And especially, like I said, when the cart starts mud gliding more than driving, you you feel that homecoming sense.
I'm hydroplaning on a cart. I love it.
Yeah.
I like to imagine the horses are drifting.
Yeah, Initial D starts playing.
Mm.
But it's only a few hours after that point. You're reaching later into the evening at this point, but you see as you come around a bend and sort of have to aggressively coax the horses up a tiny hill, which is they're having a bad time with the lack of traction here. You come up and you can see across the way. You think almost for like a split second you're back at the Ravel. There's just a large body of water, not so far across, but still a decent lake that is steel gray and flat and sort of placid, and then another sort of similar body of water beyond that, and nestled right sort of at the conflux of several of these sort of standing lakes. You see, for some of you, your first look at Defiance. even from this distance, and you're still like a mile plus out, you can see a fairly austere, tall, proud city. Bigger MIDI than anything in the cradle, significantly. Although not as imposing as some of the biggest urban dwellings of Lucindale or Twain or the like. You see a sort of checkerboardy edifice of mixed dark stone with much lighter stone mixed in with it, kind of checkered in a way. Even from this distance, the visual spectrum is one of salt and pepper. It's tall and raised and rounded with like bluffs and balconies sort of sticking out in odd directions. It looks almost terraced, but it's not a straight climb. It's very winding and kind of organically built. It stands what appears like 3 or 4 levels up, with these different terraces having buildings and walkways, and you can even from distance see the massive staircases that take you up switchbacks to go up to the higher elevations. It is built right into the nook of these two massive flat bodies of water, and you can see probably even from this distance you can see the clouds of steam and smoke that come up off of the water of the western shore that it is next to, as these huge smokestacks and pipes of hard gray metal extend out of the eastern district of the city and dip down into the water, seemingly giving off some sort of exhaust or something that only around that region does the lake bubble and steam with these huge vents of white smoke. But the rest of the surfaces of both lakes are like beaten steel mirrors and totally smooth.
So Mitty will, he'll like hold his nose and he'll say, "Is this place raided by something? What the hell has happened?"
I don't know.
To you, Mish, it looks like home. It looks like how you left it.
Hmm.
Minnie, I believe that's the smell of industry.
Industry
You
stinks.
get used to it. Yeah, you get used to it after a while.
There's definitely, especially with the kind of marsh water around you, a bit of a paper mill smell.
Hmm.
AKA the worst smell.
Yeah, gross.
It's not
Not really.
as someone who has a highway nearby that always smells like that. It's not as intense as a modern paper mill, but it definitely is a little, unpleasant as you approach the city.
I actually had both a paper mill and a sulfur mine on my way to and from college.
Ugh.
Oh,
Oh
I can one
gosh.
up both of you, I think.
Windows up.
I grew up next to a dog food factory.
Oh, gross.
a what?
A dog food factory.
Ugh.
You're welcome.
But Mish, this is definitely home. As you guys get even closer, kind of over the course of the evening, you can see the multiple rises of differing elevations. You see familiar districts. At the very top, the flat plateau is sort of crowning this layer, almost like wedding cakey structure of a city. You can see the birdsong moot even from this distance, the capital of the city. You can see the just barely from this side where you know the Needful Rise is, where your home temple is, although that's tucked away from view.
Hmm. Oh well, home sweet home. You know?
Excited to be here.
Such as it is.
I mean, you know what they say about home, right?
It's where the heart is, it's what you make of it. They say a lot of things about home.
Nah, it's the one place where you can get away with saying, "Oh my god, this place smells like crap," but you don't know.
Somebody's never been to New Jersey.
Bro, I lived in New Jersey, alright?
There's a devil in Jersey City.
And for some reason they let him run in politics.
What?
Never mind.
Okay. At Mish's direction, you guys steer the cart to approach the city from a northern side. And as you guys start to come around the walls of the city, um, those of you that are new to it are kind of confused at first because every visible part of Defiance that you can see is at least at like level 1 of this multi-tiered structure, if that makes sense. And each of the levels is 20 to 100 feet high. So there's no visible way to get up onto the city. But as you come around the northern slope, you can see what was not visible from approaching sideways, that the bottom layer of the city is not a perfect circle. There is a corridor cut out of the very center of the city, about as wide as like a nice busy highway, that just goes straight through to the other end, straight north to south. It sort of bisects the bottom layer in half, with switchback stairs that lead up left and right into the higher tiers of the city. You can see that the center of Defiance's upper layers continues over this corridor, turning it into something like a tunnel through the bedrock foundation of this fortress city that is Defiance. You know this, Mish, and probably Vinali. You've probably been here too, as the Quarter Corridor, which is the essentially the foreign district of Defiance, which is where visitors and trade is visitors stay, trade is conducted. That is where the what's the word? The exit for the train station is.
Well, I don't know that you'll particularly appreciate it, but it is a sight to behold in its own way, Mitty.
Mm-hmm.
You Outlanders are the strangest beings.
Oh, you think this is weird? You haven't seen anything yet, dude.
As you guys pull forward, the corridor, like I said, is it's wide enough that there's sort of two roads side by side, one sort of going uh, through the corridor in your direction and one coming the other way, which each one's big enough for two carts side by side. So it's a pretty major thoroughfare. The median is divided by some scant green space and buffer zones, and then right pressed up against the wall of this tunnel on the left and right, there is just an unbroken row of inns and shops and little nooks for street vendors and other kinds of ramshackle establishments that you can see, for lack of being able to build outward into the street, have climbed on top of each other to form like some kind of uneven looking um, multi-tier structure, even in just this tunnel, that kind of makes the buildings look like they're climbing the walls of Defiance, almost like ivy or something. You stand now at the precipice of this thoroughfare. People, more people than those of you native to the Cradle have probably ever seen in one place in your life, running about at the speed of breakneck business, shouting, calling, the whinnying of horses and other animals, the exhaust of numerous smokestacks that are billowing out white smoke that hits the top of this tunnel and forms like almost a smog layer at the very top that then exits at either end to sort of rise and join the general contamination of the upper levels of Defiance. Welcome to the city, and that is where we will end tonight's session.